for me, seeking God is talking to him, reading his word, getting a better understanding of what he is requiring of you, what he needs from you, and talk to him. Have just, as you stated, have a intimate relationship with him and not seek him when you need him. Like, man, my car note, my mortgage is late. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay. Lord, please, I need your help. No. Even when things are going well, seek him in that manner. Welcome back, man. Say, y'all, this is part two.
Hey.
And we got our guest still in the building, man. So we just going to get right into it.
Let's get into it.
Hold
That
on.
last show was amazing.
And let me get on to what you just said. Not get on, but let me comment on what you said.
I ain't said that. We just not getting here. What are you talking about?
Last week,
Okay.
part one, you said you don't think I have any man that would challenge me.
I question. I wonder.
Okay, I do. I know one for sure. My father will.
But I'm saying
There's
one
no
that you open
que-
up to and you really tell them
Okay.
Everything.
your stuff.
Okay,
That
yeah.
and you don't
You
tell
right.
daddies.
No, I don't. Especially anything that I do talk to my father, but anything really related to our marriage or to anything we may have dealt with or dealing with, I don't. I make a point not to go to my parents about us.
That's a good point.
I make a real good point.
What's the reason why I asked?
Because
That's
I
a good
don't-
point.
Do you
What's the
feel
reason?
like he should? Obviously,
Because
yeah.
I don't want my parents to judge or to look at her
Yes.
in a negative way. And if
I
she
agree.
goes to her mom and dad, mom did, now all of a sudden, her parents
Looking at you
will
crazy.
start judging me and start looking at me. And I don't want, and not saying they will, but I believe they would, because
Because they're
I'm
gonna
the
protect
son.
you, their baby. Yeah.
Yes, no matter how old I am, I'm still their baby. And I don't want my mom and them to look at you and start judging you and looking at you side eye. So
Yeah.
therefore, I keep them out of
Right.
our business.
Our
Like when
family
you
and
done
friends
moved
can't get
on,
over that.
Yeah, it's like when
They
you done
can't get
moved
over
on,
that.
it's like other
Exactly.
people may still
Yes.
be
You
stuck
not
on
mad
the
no more, but
situation.
your
But
daddy,
they
your mama
still
still mad
looking
at
at
her.
her.
Yeah.
Over what she did
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Exactly.
And I would tell you
Certain
this.
things you can't.
I would tell you, my son is really good about coming to me for advice about relationships. But what he does, first of all, he don't come to me when he hostile, like when he got big
Right.
energy or he mad. He don't come to me, but he will come. He will present it without saying whose side.
what
He
side.
just
He just
present
wants you
the
to know.
issue.
Right.
And mom, what you think about this, that, and the other. And so I just give it to him. And then me. Then I'm like, okay,
Cool.
what's going on? What
Right. Right.
this, that, and other. Or sometimes I just leave it like that's just my advice. I don't even want to know who's on what side. So I think it is how you take it to your parent.
Mm-hmm.
Nah,
Definitely, if
leave
you
it
have
alone.
your parent as wise counsel. And I'm not saying take everything,
Right, of course,
too,
of
but
course
like
not.
it's spiritual things, the things you may
Yeah,
struggle
that's-
with,
yeah, now
and
that's
you
different.
take it, mom. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm questioning this, or I want to know this, or I'm
Yeah.
struggling with this, and they give advice, or even if
Yeah.
it was about him. But I don't go to my parents either in a
Yeah.
in a way for advice. But I do have homegirls that I can go to that don't have the same mindset as me. And I don't want to go to somebody who think exactly like me, because you're gonna be agreeing with me.
Right.
I need somebody that you don't kind of think like me, and I respect what you would say, but still I too take it to God as well for is what she's saying, is that something I should be listening to? So I'm very in tune and touch, and I think that's
I say
important.
that. I mean, God and my therapist is the only one that gets everything.
Yeah.
They the only one that get everything because they don't. Well, God know everybody, but my therapist don't know all the people involved.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And so even your friends, you can't take them everything.
No.
Yeah.
You just can't. And so some I can
Right.
and put a little bit on them, but
Right.
even them, you gotta, because as anybody in a relationship, your job then is to protect your partner.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So protecting your partner means sometimes I can't tell my sister because I know she
Yep.
gonna get turned
Yep.
up if I say my
Yep.
wife did
Yeah.
this,
Yep.
and then like you said, I'm okay with my wife. The next week, my sister's still mad.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
I think that
Absolutely.
is I mean that relationship with God is big, and so
It's huge.
we finna follow both of that, therapy and God.
Yeah.
When it comes to men,
Why you gotta start your questions off like that? So it's the
when
it's,
it comes to men,
ready. All right, come on.
do y'all feel what stops men from really having that relationship with God? An intimate relationship with God.
These are me first, cake first.
Well, let me ask y'all. Maybe this is an easier way to answer that question. Why do you feel like it's needed? What caused you to say no? Because I'm assuming, because you brought up God first on the last show to start speaking about God. What caused you to really go on that path to say God's got to be important to me in my life?
Whew. That's a D one. Like, I don't know. It's like, I grew up in church, and even when you go through what you go through in life, you still need to make the decision. Once you end up having that knowledge of why you were even in church, and like who is really God, you start questioning things. You still need to, make that decision on if you're gonna, just continue to excel in that. And when you go through so many things and you realize, what he's, brought you from, and what he's, doing, and you're actually realizing the power of his works. Like, you hold on to something like that. You always want to stay secure in what you're comfortable with, and something that's making you realize something. And it's just, he's like a parent, and so I don't know. It's just, and you would think it's like we need God, but it's like people have gone through so many things to where they don't even know if he's real, and it's like you really can't be serious. Like, look at everything that's like literally been happening, and like things that you are still overcoming, and so it's like a no brainer to me.
Do you have a spiritual practice?
Who?
Spiritual practice?
No, not really.
What does your relationship look like with God?
It's it's really just, it's like, it's my relationship. Like, he shows up in many ways, through people, through things, through activities, and it's like, I don't ever think it's just one spot to where you can feel God moving. Like, it's not just in church. You pay attention to all different signs and walks of life that will get you to understand like everything you have heard in church, and like just get that proper knowledge of, so this is what they meant in the Bible when he said he did this for the people. So now I understand the feeling of why he chose it. So it's just different things that I've just I pay attention. That's one thing about me. I just start paying attention to things that I'm surrounded by, and going to church. And it's crazy because I've been in Fort Worth for a little minute, but I still really just haven't found like a home church. But I know exactly what I need to gain and what I need to receive when I go back to Tyler, and I take that time to actually understand everything that's been going on.
Okay.
Why I need God? Well, I'll take it back to when you were talking, when you had the thought about mine that he didn't have somebody that could challenge him. That's God.
Yeah. That's facts.
He's
That's facts.
he's just that person. And God, I don't mean to make it sound feminine, but he does it in the same way a woman can do it. He ain't going, like you said, I stand at the door and knock. I'm not trying to force my way into nothing. I'm just going to put that thought in your head. Yeah. And then you can't get that thought in your head. And why am I feel like I'm wrong when I feel like I was right? And it's just, he's just a great counterbalance. He's great to look at and say, he did it this way, I can do it this way. And he's always just a source of peace, source of balance, somebody that you can go to and say, and you can put it all out there that doesn't judge you about how you feel about it or the way you want to move. So it's just all important to me. And that relationship was more important. It got better as I was older because I was raised in church. I'm a PK, so I had it in me before I knew it, but I had to then develop my own relationship. So,
And what I have discovered just going on a like y'all raised in church, but that was in my younger days. It was more of a doing. When I say a doing, I'm going to church. I gotta go to church. Get up, we going to church.
Exactly.
And so you going, and it was more of you involved. You on the usher board. You in the choir. And I went to a little church, so you was in everything.
Yeah.
So like Steve Harvey said, we was at
Everything.
church almost every day of the
Every
week.
day, yes.
And so it was more of a doing. But what I have realized in my older years, and definitely going for the past like 4 years, this whole spiritual journey, it's a way of being. And when you want to know God, when you're intentional, he shows up, like you said, in certain ways. And because you are really wanting to have that relationship, you can see it. And I even look at nature different. I be looking at the little animals like, please, squirrel, move. I don't want to kill you. Know you from God. I don't want to kill you. So it's just like once your awareness desire comes in, you can start seeing God, and you want to know it, because when you start seeing it in different places, it's a hunger. Like I just want to know more than what the word. Oh, and then the words start. You heard it like this before, and then you see it like this, and so it becomes a very beautiful journey.
Like you have to choose. You literally have to choose to pay attention to what you went through.
Right.
Because people are still going through some of the same stuff now, not even related to God, but people are still going through the same stuff because they haven't caught on yet. They haven't paid attention. They haven't seen the works. They haven't understood what it's cost them. What it's a habit, patterns. It keeps happening. So with me, growing up, in church, with you growing up in church, like having to go and having to be a part of these things just because of what my parents were connected to, I had to understand I was only connected when I'm an individual, when I'm by myself, going through my own ways of life, because you can't compare what God is doing for somebody else to you. You have to make your own connection with him. So once I realized that it's all going to be a part of me, of how I want my life to be, peaceful, if I want, because not saying that I'm not going to go through things, but if I have a little bit of awareness that everything is going to be okay if you do this, if you go through this, if you go, it's going to get smoother. It's going to get better. So I found an importance in that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Like it.
And you said, I had a thought and it left me, and I don't want dead air right now. So I'm going to keep moving. But you said something that made me want to speak more on. You said how God gets our attention so subtle, so lovingly, just a little bit.
Just like a woman.
He going to send them whispers.
Yep.
I'm just whispering.
Yeah.
I'm whispering.
Putting it on your mind. Yeah.
I've been saying that I don't want no whooping from God, so I try to get it on the whisper. Like he done show. Okay, I done seen that just the second time. I done seen that, thought that, this, that, and the other. But that's the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
When you can know, I keep having this thought. The Holy Spirit is here to guide us.
what else is it?
But
It's guiding us.
Because it's going to get louder. If you don't listen, it's going to get louder. It's going to get louder. It's going to get louder. Then you're going to have a car wreck. Then your car going to get broken too.
Something
or
humbles
you get
you.
into a fight. Yeah,
Something
something weird
humbles
happens.
you.
You
When
be
he
like,
has to reach out and touch
I
you.
need to sit down and slow down.
Yeah.
Something happened. You're like, okay, I'm listening now.
Yeah.
So like
I
you
hear
said, if
you,
you get it on the whisper, it's
Yeah.
best to get it on that whisper.
When
Other
my
than that,
husband had a wreck in his car, a man hit him, actually. I was like, and I'll tell you, I think everything in the spiritual nature, I try to get it from a spiritual perspective. And I was like, "Ooh, Lord, I don't know if I should say this now," but I made sure everything was good. Got him home. You need to go to the hospital. And then I was like, "But why you sitting here?
the guy got your attention.
You might want to think about what God might be showing you right now, because it's ain't." And he always used to say this: "Ain't nothing." What you say?
I don't believe in coincidence.
It's nothing is a
Nothing is
coincidence.
coincidence.
If we really believe God is working in everywhere, we got to be willing to even look to see, okay, why did that happen?
Right.
How is it gonna work for my good. It don't
Exactly.
feel good.
Yeah.
But if I truly believe
Yeah.
all things are working for the good of those that love him and that is called according to his purpose, this
Yes.
gonna work out for me.
You right. You right.
Somehow, some way. I may not see it right now, but I can have peace in knowing
Gotta know him.
in the end. And I've coined this phrase that life is lived forward but understood backwards.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Life is
Okay.
lived forward. You might not know why that happened today,
Right.
but keep going. And it is of a
It'll
God.
hit you.
He will show you why you had to go through that.
Our ways are not his ways. Our thoughts are
Yes.
not his
Man.
thoughts. And
Yes.
so, yeah, he got so much of a plan going on for us. And there's so many different
Because he
things.
know where
yeah,
he
he
wanna
know where
take
he
us.
wants you to
Right,
go.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That no that makes sense. That no hurt you earlier.
And you mad at that
last year,
person
you
for
like,
telling you no. It's
Yeah.
like
but
God was like, you're
next
supposed
month,
to tell you
like,
no.
oh my God, thank you for giving
And
me
I
that
done went
no.
off on that dude, but he's supposed to tell,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
do like with jobs you ain't supposed to get and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like, man,
Yeah.
I know I killed that interview.
Yes.
They didn't get me because I'm black and da da da
Right,
da.
right,
And then that next opportunity comes like, well, wow.
This
I'm
is
glad
why-
I didn't
I'm
get
glad I didn't, because if he'd
Yeah.
have gave me that job, I wasn't ready. Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
That's
That's
it.
why I walk. Whew, you just gotta walk by faith.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's why you literally have to walk by
Yeah.
faith and not by sight, because what it looks like isn't always what it.
No,
what it
not at
seems,
all.
And I
you
think
know?
at all.
we had to be better at believing that while it's happening in real time. Because it's easy for us, like you said, that it happens, but then we live backward. So it's easy to look back and be like, "Oh, I see what you were doing there."
Right, right.
But as you're going through it, you have to be like,
Okay.
"I know it's something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just be quiet.
yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
just work through it. Let me
Right,
just keep
right.
praying, keep working, and not be mad or lash out." And then when it comes, it's a better for us, because as Christians or as believers, we look crazy acting out, and when things happen to us, like we don't have somebody that has it all together.
Right,
If you
right.
know God is working all that stuff out, then why you
Right.
mad because you had a wreck?
Right.
That
right.
wreck might be getting you a new car, but you lashing out. So people look at us as like, well, you supposed to be a Christian. You so upset. Then why do I need God? If
Right,
I'm
right.
upset. We the set same way.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have
Yeah.
to be more
Yeah,
mindful.
like
of
we
that.
in the
do.
same hospital bed.
We gotta
Yeah.
be more
we
mindful.
just all
Right.
trying to get it. We just all trying to get it figured out.
And
Yeah.
you saying that is bring me back to that wreck. It's like, yeah, I'm getting your attention for something. I'm getting you still.
Right.
'Cause anytime something that gets you still,
Yeah.
that stillness
That
is for
stillness is
real.
for real.
Get still.
Yes.
I'm trying to get your
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, another thing that came out of that was a new truck with a lower payment.
Yeah.
I'm getting your attention on this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go make this
Yeah.
happen.
and it
but look,
couldn't
I'ma
happen
still
any
bless
other
you.
way.
With less miles.
Man.
Yeah.
With,
So
The whole thing worked out
Yeah.
for
and
my
you was
good.
like, golly. But at that point in real time,
Yeah.
you like, just hit me.
Yeah.
And all
I
of that
love
time,
that.
God working
Yeah.
I
all
love
of that
that.
stuff. I got a
Yeah.
plan for you,
Yeah.
big dog.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Yeah.
I got
that
some-
real time. That's
Yeah.
ooh, that's powerful.
Man.
Believing that in real time, and even having a mindset that we're sitting here discussing allows you to forgive people.
Mm.
Because I tell my clients, thank them. They were your great teacher.
Yes.
That was a great
That was a
teacher that
great
came
teacher.
because of you. Still mad at this relationship from 5 years ago. You still mad at them.
Right.
5 years later,
Right.
why not just say, what did I learn from that?
Right.
You showed up, you treated me like this, but what I learned is my self-worth. I know
Yes.
going into another relationship like you talked about on the last show, I ain't got to be still mad at my wife or whatever happened in
Whatever
that
happened.
because I learned, and now it's going
Right.
to make me a better husband now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
forgive them. Don't mean you got to accept it from somebody else doing
Right.
it to you again. And even in that, I learned what I'm no longer going to accept.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
learning, so that's powerful.
Yeah, we got to learn and acknowledge that. We have to acknowledge that God teaches us through people that do us wrong or through bad situations. We don't like to, we like to acknowledge, oh, this man came and just paid for my my groceries. He was just standing behind me. He paid it for it, paid my groceries.
Right.
Yeah, God did that. But God did the person that did you wrong. That was sent there to help you too. It was sent there to help you get right. So we got to acknowledge that too.
So before we move on to counseling, when it comes to God, what would you want to tell the black man, specifically from Kelton's mouth? Feel me on this. Talk to him. or Mon or Lord. I don't want to keep putting Kelsey in the hot seat
Right,
first.
right.
When it comes to God and spirituality, and I'm gonna tell you now, don't get all, because some people be want to get hooked up and latch on to religion and I said God. I said spirituality. How you get to God, that's on you.
Right.
So I'm talking about your spiritual walk with God. Maybe even why they need it.
Right.
What would you want to say to the black man, to the black husband, to the black single man, whatever the case may be?
I would say you gotta have him. You have to seek him. Not to say he doesn't show up if you don't seek him, but be intentional in seeking him. Be intentional in talking to him. And trying to listen to him, as we just stated. As a man, as a husband, a lot is put on our shoulders. God, he holds us responsible. In the Bible, when God showed up, he didn't say, Adam, Eve, where y'all at? He asked, where was Adam?
He did.
Not where Eve was, and he was talking to him. So we have to seek him, use him as your guide. Don't let the world life beat you down to where you don't seek him.
What does seeking him look like? Because some people that was doing church as we grow up, we was just in church.
Right.
Seeking him, I pray. I pray. What is seeking God? How does that look in action?
For me, seeking God is talking to him, reading his word, getting a better understanding of what he is requiring of you, what he needs from you, and talk to him. Have just, as you stated, have a intimate relationship with him, and not seek him when you need him. Like, man, my car note, my mortgage is late. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pay. Lord, please, I need your help. No, even when things are going well, seek him in that manner to talk to him, if that makes sense.
Seek, what was the verse? Seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. Seeking him is relational. I would say using him as someone that you ask questions about. We so often do things on our own. I got it. And we don't even give God the opportunity to say, hey, it's a better way you could be doing that. We just, I got it. So seeking somebody means, hey, if you think somebody's smarter than you, what do? I always want to ask them questions. I always want to call them and see what they got on their mind. We don't do that to God. If he's the one that created the whole thing, he got the whole plan. Yeah. We're going to a self-help person. We're going to a counselor. We need those. But yes, it's relational. And then relationship is listening, because we do a lot of talking, but we don't listen. So meditation, having that point where we let him talk back.
Come on.
Where we just like, I got on my knees. I said what I wanted, God. Work it out.
Yeah.
But you're not even sitting there asking, or you're not listening to what he got to say. Your plans, you got a whole plan, because in your mind, even when you prayed, you know how you want it to go. You just telling God to confirm it. Do it the way I want it, God.
Yeah.
We don't want to do it the hard way.
Right. Yeah.
God said, nah, you got to go this way first.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you just go straight to it.
Yeah.
So listen and see what he's saying, because a lot of times he gives us those thoughts, those ideas. He lets you know where he's going, but we don't like to listen. Something like that. Like that.
I need the question again. Because y'all know we be hitting different topics.
We do
and
jump
I forget
around.
I want to be able to make sure I answer the question.
When it comes to God and spirituality, what advice would you give to the black man?
I will give. I feel like I've been hitting points on it all day. It's just to pay attention, because there are so many things that can be distracting and forget you to know the purpose of being a man. Like what is, like you said earlier, like what's actually required in the steps that you need to take. And if you just walk in your life and you are not feeling like there's not going to be a penalty with any of this stuff, then I mean, we're clearly sadly mistaken. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, and I know I saw this video and they were saying, you know, the problem now with people is like, you know, we don't know God. So it's like we really don't know the correct way to approach some of these situations. So
Right.
paying attention is just vital. Like don't just be like I tell my kids all the time when I'm working with, like, don't be a crash dummy. Don't act oblivious to everything.
Right.
Like, you know, don't just, you know, hear what people are saying and continue to choose not to listen and continue to not take everything that they're saying into consideration to have a better life. Like
Right.
pay attention. So
Yeah.
that's what I would tell them.
Okay. And as y'all were just talking, like y'all, my mind is going 100 miles an hour, which I'm sure he knows this.
Yes, I do.
Oh, but it's also good in everything that you all are saying. I want black men to know, just from a woman's perspective, is how amazing you are. And the more that you seek God, the more you're going to discover yourself. And they were saying some things here just now, and I know Lord keeps saying you're going to have an idea, you're going to have a thought. When you are intentional about having that relationship with God, you are now accessing your divine self. You are now accessing that real power that's in you, that higher thought. We are images of God.
Yeah.
We are models of God in the earth realm. And so when you start thinking spiritual, when you start thinking godly, your thoughts are powerful, and you will know what's a God thought and what's a self thought, a human thought. You're going to know. So be intentional about discovering you, because even the more that you discover you discover God. So I want you to really understand what your power is as a man, as a spiritual being. You're just a spiritual being having a human experience. That's how powerful you
like
are.
it.
You are God's masterpiece. Masterpiece. So despite what society has been brainwashing you to think, they understand your power. That's why they do what they do.
Definitely.
To try to brainwash you, because if you ever caught on to how powerful, as black people, if we ever caught on to how powerful we really are,
Nothing we
definitely
can't do. Yeah.
believe things will shift.
Definitely.
So you talked about therapy.
Therapy.
So I'm assuming you believe in it.
I do.
What caused you to go, and how has it impacted your life? And of course, why I'm asking this is so many men are reluctant to individual. Now, I've even heard some men, I agree to go to couples, but I ain't going to individual.
Oh, well, the therapy journeys, because I was opposed to it also. The therapy journey started with me in, I think, 21. So in 19, my father died. And then exactly 13 months and 13 days later, my mother died. So that in 2020, my mother died. And just in those situations, I was married, had kids. I was early, just in my 40s, and just life to me kind of, you get hit in the face and you don't know what to do. As a man, I only knew to keep going. That's it. I still got to go to work. I mean, when my dad died, I was back at work 2 days later because that was my coping mechanism.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do anything but to go to work. And I felt like if I just go to work, if I just keep acting like everything is normal, it'll all be normal. I'll be just fine. And I'm going through this, what I'm thinking is normal, and I'm in a fog the whole time. I'm missing stuff. I'm not, paying attention to things. And it was my wife. That's why having a good wife is a good thing. She came to me, and my wife is a LPC, so she's a licensed professional counselor. She was like, babe, you ever thought about going to counseling? And me being a man, I rah at first. I'm gonna count down. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm cool. You see me working, doing my thing. What you think is wrong?
Right.
And so she just left it. For a while she just left it. And it was actually going to church that she had planted the seed. It was going to church, and then we both go to Cornell. We all go to Cornell. Going to church and then seeing them have therapy on the stage and them talking about it. And I went right after COVID. It was just happened to be the month that they were doing it every month, every Sunday. We were going every Sunday. Every Sunday they have counselor up there, and I was like, golly, my wife said it. Now God hit me over the head over with it,
Right.
and maybe I just need to sit down and be still and go. So I was like, I'm gonna go. Went, and so for me, it was just another place. Like I said, God and my therapist know everything. It was an actual place to download, and it felt good for somebody to just listen to it all and not judge. And so for me, it helped having somebody there to just download a lot of that crap that's going through in my head, and then not to tell me what to do, but just say, hey, now that all this is kind of happening, what do you think? And just add a different perspective. So for me, it's just been life-changing for my family, for everything. We started going to couples counseling, and so we've done a lot of different things now. We need to do more of it, but it's just been a life-changing thing for me. So I suggest all men try it. At least try it,
That'd be my thing. Just try it. I don't need it.
We try all this other crazy stuff. You try all that other crazy stuff you're doing. So what is it so big to go? And then if you don't like it, don't go back.
Yeah.
And also what I'll say too, try different people. You may not like the person you went to.
Yeah.
Try different people, see what they have, and then before you knock it, just try it.
Okay. But I feel like even as people.
Hold on. Right, before you go there,
my fault.
we got to take a small commercial break.
Go ahead.
We got to go pay these bills real quick. We'll be right back.
Have you considered purchasing a home, but something has stopped you? Maybe you don't think you'll qualify due to credit, or you don't think you've saved enough, or maybe someone you trust said you should wait because the market is about to shift. The truth is, none of us know.
We're back. Thank you for tuning in. My brother Lloyd was speaking to us about counseling and how it has impacted his life. Kay, you had a point you was making for the make?
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like even just as people, why is it we go through that point of like, because you said in counseling, like, if you don't like it, then just try it again, and it's like you fail, just keep going. But like, why is failure so, or the first experience so, I don't know, life changing? You know what I mean?
Well,
it's like
I heard you saying is, it didn't work, so
yeah,
we
it's
just
like
put this
some
big stamp on
some
failure.
people like we just stop. Like, we don't try to consider another option, or going to a different source, trying a different relationship,
Right,
trying
right,
something.
right.
It's like, why is that a thing? Like, why is the first
I would say for us,
experience so crazy? Like, just to dictate all of the rest of your decisions and things like that.
because if you already had a negative thought, it just confirms what you believe. And so you were like, oh, I was right. See, it didn't work. It wasn't no good. And so that confirmed it. And then now, especially as men, I don't need another reason to go back.
Right.
It confirmed what I believe.
Right.
But for me, it was because I didn't initially like the first person I went to. Because I used, well, thank God for your job now. They have these EAPs, employee assistance programs. I was able to call in. White lady, she was trying to be as nice as she could. But for me, a white woman wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
So it didn't work.
It matters.
And then I felt the need that my wife called it out. I saw it, and it was like, I need it. Because then after kind of separating from those two traumatic incidents, the further you get away, your mind does. Once the dust kind of settles, it was like, oh, I am acting crazy. Because also, too, we had a baby the week we buried my mom like on a Tuesday. My son was born that next Tuesday. So we were going through a pregnancy, all of this, while my parents one dying, while one transition, all of this.
Right.
And so it was after the dust settled, it was like, man, I'm missing so many moments. My wife was like, you remember when? I was like, I don't remember that.
But ain't
And
even aware.
I wasn't even aware. It was just the fog was so great. My son was a senior that year. It was just the fog was so big. I was missing stuff. And when she would say, "You remember?" I was like, "I don't remember that." And she go show me a picture. I was like, "Man, I was there."
Right.
Or I should have been there in that moment and I don't remember it.
Right.
Is that I was so clouded and weighed down by everything was happening. And that's when I was like, "Oh yeah, I need it for real, for real. I need it for real."
Ooh, that's so deep.
Yeah.
Just the weighing down, and you going back from the last show talking about just as a man, the weight that y'all carry, the call that's on your life, the stuff, and you can be in a fog and don't even know it from trauma, from past stuff that has happened in your life, from family patterns and etc. You so in the world and so unconscious.
Yep.
But even that is 90% of us. Not 90% of us. 90% of the time, we are operating from our unconscious mindset.
Yes.
Only
we
about
are.
5 to 10% is conscious
It's
move.
consciously moving. Yeah.
You can drive home every day, and
Be
you'll
on
get
cruise
home and
control,
how did I even get here? What route did I take?
Right.
You're doing it unconscious because
Yeah.
that's what you know to do that. You don't need no GPS.
Right.
You moving. You can have so much stuff. And sometimes when there is a lot of stuff on your mind, you done missed your exit that you can normally get off. How I missed that?
Why am I way
Right.
out here?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is such a powerful thing. But I think with failure is how people define failure. Is what stops them. Their definition of what failure is. And if you stop and even ask people, again, I'm constantly referring like to clients or people, I was stopping like, what are you telling yourself about failure? Because if you're telling yourself you ain't no good, you start beating yourself up, yeah, you ain't gonna want to try nothing. But if failure is, that's a lesson in that.
Right.
I can grow from this. You gonna move totally. A growth mindset person and a person that doesn't have a growth mindset moves totally different through life.
Yeah, like, and I tell like some of my students when they come to me, and I let them, I talk to them just like adults. Like I don't talk at them. It's like they need to start understanding now
Yes.
that I want you to hear this from somebody who wants you to exceed in life. So they come to me sometimes, and I have to let them know that I don't expect anybody, grown, kid, it don't matter. I don't expect anybody to know how to do anything if they've never been like around. Like change starts with an understanding. If you don't understand what needs to be changed, then you're gonna maneuver like everything is all handy and dandy.
Like,
I
go
like
back
that.
to
I
the
like
last
that.
show.
Yep. I like that. I like
like
that.
you really, like you really have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Like it's
Heck
like it's not a game, because things can continuously go over your head, and making the same mistakes, you get caught in those patterns, and like who you surrounding yourself with, you get caught up in nobody like pulling you out of that situation, because you need, that's social awareness. You need people to see, because we can be blind to a lot of our own movements.
What you said about failure, I became. It is a change, a growth mindset. I became an a-hole about failure, because it used to be when I failed, you get mad, you suck, you think, man, what, and when I say I became an a-hole about it, it was like, you not finna beat me. I made it personal. But when I fail at something, like, okay, I didn't get that right, that is never gonna happen again. And so I work to then, what am I gonna do to beat that? I'm gonna beat it the next time. When I think about singing, I couldn't hit that note this time. What I got to do to work on to make sure that I'm ready to hit that note the next time. The way I'm ready to flow through that song, seamlessly. So that means I got to practice more. That means working on me, so that when I get to that point again, okay, I'm ready. So I started treating failure kind of like that.
Yeah, that is good. I'll just excel. How do I excel? How do I keep excelling?
Because there's always something good in something bad. I believe, God has turned the most ugliest things into your life into the most beautiful. So it's like, if you know the power of him turning a situation and making it, work out, that's the beauty of it. Like that goes back, you just gotta know him. Like you just have to know. It almost helps you operate through life understanding what is to come, and he giving you the secrets. He giving you some of these keys to understand that there will be trouble. The Bible says that we have troubles all around us, but we are not defeated.
Yeah.
We often don't know what to do, but we don't give up. So it literally tells you that there will be trouble.
Yes.
But it also says, I will keep you. It also says, I have a plan for your life,
Right,
future,
right.
and I have, so it lets you know his promise as well.
Right.
So get
I heard
that
these black
understanding.
men quoting scripture.
So
Do you
gotta-
hear them
You
quoting
gotta go get it,
scripture?
man. You gotta know him.
And I would say it and what you're thinking made me think about the importance of when we speak of wise counsel at different levels of life. So if I'm only talking to people, like we say, we talk to our kids, they talking they dumb friends. You're only talking from a 16 or 17-year-old perspective. You're only gonna get that. Y'all have no life experience off of what's happening. So you may need to get somebody 30 or 40 or 50. Even me being in my 40s, I need somebody 50 or 60.
Yeah.
Or I need somebody that's been married 20 years or so that can say, hey, you see, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
And this may be your first time going through it, but it's going to kind of work out like this. This can be the end so that even though I may not understand it, I can lean on Remon and be like, man, you've been married 20 years.
Yeah.
What this look like?
Yeah.
I'm like, hey man, when you go through this, think about this, and that helps me then to get down the line a little faster.
Yeah. And as people, we are, how God even set it up, we are relational.
Yes.
All this is relational. And I'm saying this saying that to say this. Stop saying can't nobody teach you nothing.
Man, that's
Can't
crazy.
nobody
That's
tell
crazy.
me about me.
ignorance.
People absolutely can tell you about you.
That's
A
leaning
bum
on
can
your own
teach you. A
understanding.
bum can
Yeah.
teach you how not to end up on the street.
Yeah.
You know what I
Learn from
mean?
anybody.
You can learn from
Yes.
anybody.
You really
Anybody.
Man, even our kids are great teachers.
Yes.
And people discount children,
Yeah.
but they are coming with the purest view.
Suffer
They
the
haven't
little
been,
children.
yeah. Our students, when somebody says something to you instead of a kid, getting in your feelings, if a kid tell you sure are mean, or I ain't mean, they are coming from a very pure place.
Yeah.
So why not? Oh, they said I'm mean. Wait a minute. Even if I think I'm not, what am
What
I
what triggered that?
presenting
Yeah.
to them to say that?
You'll hand your kids your
Yeah.
phone so they can figure something out because it's like, man, I can't figure this phone out. I get my phone to my kid and let them, hey, daddy's like this.
Right.
So why when it's attitude, I can't listen to my kid? Why when it's, well, dad, why I can't listen to my kid then?
Mhm.
So they have perspectives too, you know?
Absolutely.
It's an ego.
Yeah.
Woo.
Ooh.
It's a,
Don't talk about the male ego today. That ain't what we talking about. That ain't what we
That ain't
talking
even
about.
on the card, but come on.
No, I was really talking about everybody. I was really talking about everybody. Like I thought we were just talking about like the mindset. Just I'm like when I like, but that is like it's an ego thing. Like it's
Yeah.
like
Well-
if you don't see nothing wrong in yourself, that's what I'm saying. It's an ego thing.
Uh-oh.
So he said, "Don't talk about the male ego."
I want
So
you
let's
to get,
talk
I want
about
you
the
to get
male
some of them
ego.
cue card
So
questions
let's
that we
talk
was
about
talking
the
about.
male ego.
I wanted some of them cue
I
card
guess we
questions.
can go there though.
Oh,
I didn't mean to. I will talk.
I'm gonna
No,
bring
we
us
can go
back
there.
to the male ego. I'm gonna bring us back because I want to know what is, and I asked y'all this question on our pre-conference call. What is a childhood pattern that you have chosen to break, or a childhood thought, or something, because you saw that it wasn't beneficial to you as an adult?
You got something, Kay? I
Childhood.
thought about it
Mm-hmm.
and I got something. And it's not, it's more, I would say, even personal. And I would say it's more about self-confidence, right?
Okay.
So going through relational, I'll start somewhere. I had a young lady that cared about me a lot. We were together and she was like, why you always looking down? Why you always looking at the ground? Anytime you walking, it's like, she would always tell me, put your head up. Pick your head up. What you doing? Why you was looking at the ground and looking at it? And so I never thought about it. And so I went and I was like, why do I always doing that?
Right.
Well, as a kid, growing up, going through the teenage phase, I had bad acne. Terrible. My face was like, kids call me Star Crunch, all that. Couldn't get a girlfriend because I looked terrible. And so from that, internally, I hated how I presented myself. I hated how I looked. I hated to look in the mirror and see all of this stuff. And I I felt like that's what people see when they see me.
Mm.
And so I would then just try to be real quiet and kind of just slide around and not really even make eye contact or talk to people because I'm trying to avoid them looking at how bad my face looked. So I didn't know. As growing up, it was just a self-confidence thing. And so that I had to grow up and was like, you know what? It don't matter. I'm me. I had to be more comfortable in my own skin and love myself more, that it doesn't matter how you think I look. God love me. I love myself. I can still get girls. All of that. But that was one thing that, and it's nobody told me that. Nobody said nothing. It was just me that I internalized on me, that I had bad self-confidence growing up. So that was one of my things.
Okay.
It's on me. Oh, okay.
I ain't got nothing. That
What?
Let me finish. Good Lord. Man. And what I mean by that, I don't want to say, I don't want to sit in here and lie. So when I mean I don't have nothing that I can think of that I have been consciously doing that I've been trying to break. Not to say I don't have nothing I don't need to break, but I can't think of nothing about my childhood that I'm doing as a father or that I don't know.
Is it the big one you trying to get to? That the big one you trying to really get to is when everybody asks you how many girlfriends you got.
Okay.
Is that what you trying to get to that one?
Okay. Well, okay.
I think I know
That-
one.
that's
I
one of the
think
bigger
I know
ones.
one.
How many
I
girlfriends you
think
got?
that you have. You
Uh-oh.
were trying. You were trying to do. I don't know if you were consciously trying to do it, and that is, how you parented our son. I think you were not trying to be as hard on him as your dad was on you.
Yeah.
I don't think you were consciously
That's it.
doing
That's
it,
that. You're that's
but
no,
I definitely
that is
believe-
absolutely. I grew up. My father's old school. If I tell you to do something, you gonna do it or it's a problem.
And I only
And
got
it's
to
a
tell you
problem.
one time.
One time. One
I'm
time.
with you
If
on
my
that one.
father had to tell me, there well, I mean, I ain't no have to. My daddy didn't have to tell me 2, 3, 4, 5 times to do something, and it wasn't a problem. He didn't reach out and,
Oh, it
and
was-
Yeah,
touch me.
yes,
problem.
sir. Yes, sir.
That's something I've done. Yeah, that is something I've done because I purposely didn't do that to my son at times, and at times, if I'm being honest, at times I wish I did. I
got a
really
question.
wish I did because I would be upset. I done told you 2, 3, 4, and you're constantly doing this for that,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm tired of it. To where if I would have reached out and touched you that second time, I wouldn't have had these issues over and over and over again. But yes, to answer your question, that would be one.
From that, do you, I
ahead.
don't
No,
want to
go ahead.
sidebar. From that, do you think we make weaker kids? From that,
I do.
yeah,
I do.
I do
There
too.
is
I do too.
absolutely.
What do you
too.
define by weaker kids though?
And I mean it from the standpoint, not that you got to put your hands on your kids,
Right.
Because I subscribe to that, and I've tried to pull back on that. Like I don't have to beat them to get my point
Right,
across,
right.
but that may make you weak too. But anyway, from the point to where, because it is said that strong men make weak kids.
Yes.
Because you've had to endure so much, and then
Yes.
you're like, I don't want my kid to have to
Oh
go
my
through what I went through. I don't
Preach,
want my
sir.
kid to have to da 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 da.
Preach,
And
sir.
so you make this space for them that is so comfortable
Yes.
that then when they get out, they don't know how to handle the
No.
first time they get punched in the mouth.
Yes.
Because daddy is not letting me get punched in the mouth.
Yes.
Because daddy's been daddy or mama's been
Yes.
mama. I've never been
Yes.
punched in the face. So
Yes.
now I don't know how to get up.
No.
Yeah.
Because as kids, we were punched in the face, or you
Yes.
were at the point where you had to fight, or it was some struggle every day.
Absolutely.
You know, and then so now they don't have that struggle because we raised suburban kids.
Yeah,
Well,
they
we kind of
don't-
grew up in a, but
they
they ain't
can't
really
handle the
They
struggle.
can't handle it.
The struggle
It's cold
in
outside.
life,
I'm
An experience.
the
Yeah.
struggle in
Yeah,
life
experience,
almost
man.
breaks them.
Yes, and it was like that ain't even
Right.
Somebody
'Cause
was
today.
cyberbullying. What is
Yeah.
that? That was the dozens back then.
Yes.
That was us just
Yes.
playing and
I had a
joking.
time with my
and
mama.
people
I got in trouble with my
a
mama.
lot more than they've ever done.
I got into it. I ain't saying we got into it, but it was a situation where this dude was like Loki trying to put his hands on me in school, and I was trying to communicate with my mom about it. He said, "Okay, well, if he hit you more than twice, then you get." I said, "More than what?" It's like
Right.
they always had the saying like, if
Yeah.
you fight, then you gonna get in trouble when you get. No
Right.
matter the situation, no
Right.
matter the
Yes.
case,
If you
like
like what?
if you just like fight, like they didn't like. It's like whatever they say goes. And
Your parent.
yes, for sure. It's like if you do this, like no matter like what the situation was, what it was kind of looking like they weren't really trying to understand
Right.
the perspective of like different things that I kind of went through.
Right.
And that goes back to the question you asked about the childhood thing. I think one thing that I kind of had to overcome was learning how to talk, like say what I really want to say, because I had old school parents too, and they were a team. I loved them to death. Like they did everything for me, but it was just times where it came to no matter how young I was, they would come in and it's like questions, concerns, anything like that, or sometimes they would come in and just start telling us to do stuff. And at that point, it was like, okay, even if I did have something to say, would you really even listen? Like, would you really even consider? Or are y'all that, much of a team to where like everything that I say is like it's going against just because I'm a child?
Right.
And because those excuses of, well, because I'm the parent or because I'm the adult, but you're
Right.
wrong. Like you
Right.
honestly are wrong.
Yeah.
And I can't say that because that's me coming off as disrespectful, or that's me coming off as not knowing what I'm talking about because I'm young, or the case may be. So the thing that humbled me about that, me getting that realization, I had a lash out with both of them, and like I feel like something had to happen for them to have that realization, understanding, like a place I was really coming from. One happened with my mom, one happened with my dad. Like they kind of just saw a character that they had never really seen before, and it was a build up, and it was because like everything like. Okay, well, like you asking me a question, let me finish answering the question.
Yeah.
Don't cut me off at the first thing that triggers you.
Yeah.
And that kind of causes confusion of us going back and forth. And now, no, okay, I'm done. No, because I'm talking. Like, don't cut me off. So like different stuff, and and that kind of that came over. That kind of came over through like relationships a little bit. That kind of came over through relationships a little bit because. They always ask, was like, well, you just go quiet like every single time. It's like because you're not trying to listen.
Absolutely.
You feel me? So it just it carried over. Like different things carried over. So once I realized that, things started calming down because I was actually able to speak, gain better relationships because,
Oh my God.
Please answer
Let me
that
pick-
other
let me-
question.
Let me
Oh,
pick back off of Lord about some weaker kids. I think as parents today, we try to focus on giving our kids something we didn't get, that we forgot to give them what we did get.
Ooh, come on now. Come on, man.
And it has hurt them.
Yeah.
It really has.
Yeah.
That sometimes that old school method, it really did work at times.
Yeah.
For the it might have had a little.
It worked.
definitely.
Yes, it might have had some repercussions, but some of the stuff it actually worked. It did. We so focused on giving what we didn't get that we really did forget them.
Your child has a voice. You're da-da-da-da. Man, we didn't have no voice.
Right.
We was be
Now-
seen and not
now
heard.
that's
You
why-
shut up. You do as I say, not as I do. That kind of
Because everything today with the young adults, these young students, it is by far worse than it has ever been. In education, the behavior is worse than when we were in school. The kids are more disrespectful than ever.
Yep.
Because
they didn't get popped in the mouth.
Is on a high. Yes, suicide is as a higher rate. We got bullied.
Yep.
There was bullies at our
when we
school
was there.
or in our neighborhoods. We dealt with it in a different way. We was not talked to. No, don't do that. Go
Or
to
get
a
an administration.
counselor.
Quit talking about my
Yes,
child.
Yes, let your kid talk. They have a voice. Now they're choosing to be girls when they were born guys. It is okay.
Now they can't stay at jobs because my boss don't like me. Your boss ain't got to like you.
Come on, man.
Boss ain't got. They
Come on,
quitting
man.
jobs. Just my boss don't like
Come
me.
on, man.
They go to
Parents-
work.
My opinion, parents are softer.
We're soft.
And
we
you
are.
look at the kids, and it's evident. I don't care what
Yes.
anybody disagrees.
Me
the
either.
proof
The same way. It's in the
is in
pudding.
our face.
Yes.
And if you disagree, go to a school.
For real.
Talk to a teacher.
Or watch the video. How many videos they got of
'Cause
these
everything
kids
they dealing
disrespecting
with,
their
we
parents?
dealt with it just in
And
a different way.
adults,
Like he
the
said,
teachers.
we didn't have social media as bullies. It was live in your face.
I'm
Kids
taking your
played that.
lunch
We
money.
got talked about.
Yeah, we got talked
picked
about.
on.
We got picked on.
Come
and
on,
we
man.
learned how to
Can't
deal
even
with
be
it.
100 with parents sometimes.
No,
Yeah,
now the
they feel
parents
like-
want to fight.
Yeah.
Wanna fight the teacher.
They don't
and all.
see
Back when we was in
anything
school, let
wrong
the teacher call home.
with the issue.
They
You
gonna
was
beat you
dealt with
first.
immediately. Then let
Then
me find out. That teacher ain't lying. Now you lying. My son ain't
My
lying.
son ain't
This
lying.
12, this 13, 14-year-old kid
I
ain't gonna lie to get himself out of trouble.
We couldn't call an
Are
adult
you
a lie.
serious?
Don't y'all
You
have-
know that. We
like-
couldn't call an adult a
don't y'all
lie.
have, like,
You,
codes
why
and
they
shit
lying
right
on
now?
you?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Security.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know
God,
that's.
dog.
I know that's touchy.
Yeah, this is. Oh
Let's
my
need
God,
you to
this
ask
my
that
own-
pre-production. I need that pre-production question though.
And they think they.
I need
kids
that
go to a-
pre-production question.
What was that?
What was
The
that?
the submission.
Oh yes, we gotta ask.
Because I know that's a
So we
fire.
okay.
We can ask it. We can
can
do that.
We gotta ask this question and talk
Yes,
about it.
let's go.
Oh my God, I want to talk about that. But this is all I'm gonna say to what they are saying
We
is
don't have
that
time for that.
I'm just gonna say real quick is that when you saying strong men make weaker children because we are parenting from our wounded child.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We are parenting from our wounded child.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm gonna leave that
That's
right
a whole
there.
nother
That's
set.
a whole nother show.
Yes.
So
Parenting from our wounded
Wrap
child.
up with this. What we
So
wrapping up with?
this is the question. Is the biggest issue we see today husbands don't know how to lead
Mm.
or wives don't know how to be submissive
Mm.
in the household? What do you feel like is the biggest issue? And I still feel like, Kelton, at the end, I think you can, because the preparation starts before we get married.
Mhm.
The mindset starts
It does.
before we say I
Fellas,
do.
I'm gonna let y'all take the lead.
Ah, man. Y'all fellas, y'all ain't gonna like me. Because
You
it's
don't
us.
like me either.
It's us, fellas.
Break it down. Tap.
Because
why is it us, my
It's
brother?
us because we are the standard.
Okay.
God created us first.
Yes.
God made us leaders,
Mm.
and we have to lead. If
Mm-hmm.
you remember the movie, Remember the Titans, and it was a racial movie. With the black kid and the white kid, they playing defense, and the black kid's like, why are you not da-da-da, your people? And the white kid was like, y'all just don't listen. Y'all want da-da-da. And the black dude says, attitude reflects leadership. Attitude reflects leadership. So if women are leading, it's because our leadership isn't right. Because we aren't doing something that we're supposed to be doing. Women are supposed to submit to us. That's Ephesians, 5:21.
Or something, yeah, something.
But if you read verse 20, the first verse says, submit to each other. How God, we submit to God. So we supposed to submit to each other. We're just the leader. We're the tiebreaker.
Right.
But if things aren't going how they're not going right, it's our fault. Because when God came back after the apple was eaten, he didn't ask for Eve. He asked for Adam. Adam, where are you? So men, we are accountable for how our families are, how our women present themselves. You don't like how she look, it's because you like her to look like that. That's your fault. If she going out there looking crazy, that's your fault. If your kids are not in line, that's your fault. Because we are the men. We hold a standard. And if we're not holding the standard, then we can't be mad at the what happens because we've let it all go.
Okay.
We have to be accountable.
Do you think, whether it's your generation or whether it's just men, that men know how to lead? Have leadership qualities?
I feel like some men struggle with it, honestly. And my thing is, you go through these experiences, with different women, and not saying you don't have to listen, to certain things that a woman says, but you really have to, because sometimes in our generation, when it gets so toxic, it's like, well, no, because I'm the one that's doing this. I'm the one that's like, it's like, and that starts feeding into the mindset of a man, and you start actually believing that, and that's what kind of gets you to start maneuvering different. You done seen men do crazy stuff just because of what a woman said or what a woman did. Then it's like you really have to have that understanding of what God is telling you to do, like what God has shaped a man up to be. Like regardless of what you go through this situation, you have a responsibility, and you are able to take whatever it is that you went through and still create peace in your household or create peace in your relationship. So at the end of the day, you know what you're built for. Like I said, it's a privilege to be called a man. So know exactly what it is to be a leader. Like we're called to do that, despite of what we go through. Like stay out of your pity. So I get what they say sometimes. What they say, being sassy. We can't stay in that. We weren't cut like that. So pay attention.
Ooh. Okay. So y'all, that was a great way to end the show.
God, I ain't get to say nothing.
That's all right, cause that's cause you get next week. You get a whole show to say what you gonna say.
Cause I want to say something.
Cause I got a different take. I realized I was being generous on the show when you asked this question. I was so focused on not causing division that I was about to not elevate the black men because I wanted to play safe. Cause I said 50-50 or 60-40. And after I did my research,
I did too.
Yes,
I got a different perspective on this.
You too.
Thank y'all.
Yes.
So much.
Thank y'all for having us.
For coming and being in the studio and giving so much knowledge.
Absolutely.
So much
Loved it.
Elevation for our culture. For just hear what we learned from each other. Thank y'all.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Thank y'all for having us.
This is needed.
Yeah.
Like y'all are doing a great work.
Yeah.
Doing a great work.
We'll see you next week.